should have known better than to show up. The moment I pulled into my parents' driveway that Thanksgiving, I saw my sister's white Tesla already parked in front, perfectly angled, probably already posted to Instagram with some caption about gratitude and family. I sat in my car for 3 full minutes, watching the glow from the dining room windows, my hands gripping the steering wheel. Inside, I could hear them before I even reached the door. Laughter. The kind that sounds warm until you walk into it and realize it wasn't meant for you. My mother opened the door wearing that smile. You know the one. The smile that looks genuine in photos but has teeth behind it. "Oh, you made it," she said, her eyes doing that quick scan mothers do. Top to bottom. 3 seconds. That's all it took for her smile to tighten just slightly at the corners. "Come in, sweetie. We were just talking about Madison." Of course they were. My sister was holding court at the dining table, surrounded by aunts and cousins. She looked like she'd stepped out of a fitness magazine. Probably because she had. Her whole life was a fitness magazine now. 28 years old, 115 pounds of sponsored content, and green smoothies. "There she is," my father said from his chair, barely looking up from his phone. "The tech girl. Not my daughter, not the entrepreneur. The tech girl. Like it was a phase. Like I was still 12 and obsessed with boy bands. I set my contribution on the kitchen counter. Store-bought pie. I'd been in back-to-back investor meetings all week and had grabbed what I could. My mother picked it up with 2 fingers, the way you'd hold something questionable. "Oh," she said. "How convenient." Madison had made 3 dishes from scratch. She mentioned this 4 times before I'd even taken off my coat. The table was set like something from a home magazine. Fall decorations. Candles. The good china we only use twice a year. I found my seat. The one at the end. The one that used to be my grandmother's before she died. Now it was just the extra chair. The one they needed to make the numbers work. "Madison, tell everyone about the brand deal," my Aunt Karen said, leaning forward like she was about to hear state secrets. My sister did that thing where she pretended to be modest. Hand to chest, eyes down, the performance of humility. "Oh, it's not that big," she said, then proceeded to describe exactly how big it was. 6 figures, athleisure line, her face on billboards in New York and Los Angeles. Everyone clapped, actual applause, at a family dinner. I moved my fork from one side of the plate to the other. "What about you?" my Uncle Mike asked, and for 1 second, I thought someone was actually going to ask about my company. "You still doing that computer thing?" That computer thing. The startup I'd been building for 3 years. The platform that had just closed Series B funding. That computer thing. "Yeah," I said. "Still doing that." He said, already turning back to Madison. "Must be nice working from home. Flexible hours. You can eat whenever you want." There it was, delivered with a smile. The subtext so obvious it might as well have been shouted. "You're fat, because you have time to eat." I took a sip of water. Slow. Controlled. I would not react. Not here. Not now. My mother started serving. Turkey. Mashed potatoes. Green beans. She loaded Madison's plate with vegetables. Mostly vegetables. Then she got to me. "I'll just take a little of everything," I said. "Are you sure?" My mother's hand hovered over the serving spoon. "You know, I read this article about intermittent fasting. Maybe you and Madison could do it together. Sister bonding." Madison looked at me with what I'm sure she thought was sympathy. It looked more like pity wrapped in smugness. "I'm actually fine, Mom. I'm just saying. Madison looks so healthy. Don't you want to feel that way?" I am healthy. I ran my own company. I managed a team of 15. I'd pitched to venture capitalists who could buy and sell this entire house. I was probably the healthiest person at this table in every way that actually mattered. But I didn't say that. I just nodded, smiled, put food on my plate while they watched. "Oh, wait," Madison said suddenly, pulling out her phone. "Family photo before we eat. Mom, stand behind Dad. Everyone squeeze in." I started to move to the edge of the frame, but Madison's hand shot out. "Actually," she said, her voice sugar-sweet, "maybe you could take the picture? You're so good with tech stuff." 20 people, all staring at me, waiting. I took the phone. They all arranged themselves. Perfect smiles, perfect angles. My mother's hand on Madison's shoulder. My father beaming with pride. I wasn't in the frame, but I could see myself reflected in the window behind them, holding the phone. Outside the picture, even when I was standing right there, I took the photo. 5 of them. Madison wanted options. Perfect, she said, not even looking at me as she took her phone back. Already editing. Already choosing filters. This would be on her Instagram within the hour. The caption would probably say something about being grateful for family. All 1.2 million of her followers would like it. None of them would notice I wasn't in it. Dinner continued around me. Conversations flowed. Stories were told. Madison mentioned her morning workout routine 3 more times. Someone asked about her meal prep. My mother asked if she'd gotten thinner. I think maybe a little, Madison said, pleased. No one asked me anything. Not about my company. Not about my life. Not even something basic like whether I was seeing anyone or where I was living now. I was invisible until I was useful. When Madison needed someone to grab more wine from the kitchen. When my mother needed help clearing plates. When someone needed a photo taken. Then I existed. I watched them all. Really watched them. My mother's face when she looked at Madison versus when she looked at me. My father's attention, always half present unless my sister was speaking. My aunts and uncles, performing their interest in my life for exactly as long as politeness required before returning to Madison. I felt something shift inside me. Not anger. Anger would have been hot. This was cold, clarifying, like a lens focusing. They would keep doing this forever, unless I changed something. Unless I stopped waiting for them to see me and started making it impossible not to. I set my fork down carefully, precisely. I folded my napkin. I need to get going, I said. Already? My mother asked, but there was relief in her voice. One less plate to deal with. One less reminder that her perfect family photo was missing something. Work stuff, I said. On Thanksgiving? My father said. On Thanksgiving, I confirmed. I grabbed my coat, walked to the door. No one followed me. No one protested. Through the window, I could see them settling back into their evening, already forgetting I'd been there. I sat in my car again. Engine running. Heat blasting. My phone buzzed. Madison had posted the photo. The caption, "Thankful for this amazing family." 43 likes already. I didn't comment. Didn't react. I just put my car in reverse and drove away. But I wasn't leaving empty-handed. I was leaving with clarity, with purpose, with a decision that would change everything. They wanted to ignore me? Fine. I'd give them something they couldn't ignore. And I wouldn't say a word while I did it. 2 years is a long time to build an empire in silence. I stopped going to family dinners after that Thanksgiving. Not dramatically. No announcements. No explanations. I just stopped showing up. When my mother called, I kept it brief. When Madison texted, I responded with single words. Present, but distant. There, but unreachable. They barely noticed. My office in Palo Alto became my real home. 18-hour days. Sometimes 20. My team thought I was driven. They had no idea I was running from something. Or maybe toward something. It was hard to tell the difference anymore. 3 months after Thanksgiving, we closed our Series B. $7 million. The kind of number that should make you call your parents. Should make you celebrate. I read the email from our lead investor at 2 a.m, alone in my apartment, eating cold pizza straight from the box. I didn't tell anyone in my family. Christmas came. I sent gifts, expensive ones. The kind you buy when you have money but no time. My mother called to thank me. In the background, I could hear Madison laughing. Some story about a ski trip with her influencer friends. "That's wonderful, sweetie," my mother said to me, her voice distracted. "Your gift is lovely. Very generous." "Madison, wait. Tell me that part again about the lodge." I was already off the phone before she finished the sentence. February brought my sister's birthday. The family group chat exploded with messages, photos, plans. My mother organized a surprise party at some trendy restaurant downtown. 2 days before, Madison texted me directly for the first time in months. "Can you lend me $3,000? New camera equipment. I'll pay you back next month." No. "How are you?" No. "Happy early birthday to me, by the way. Just a request." I sent the money. She responded with a thumbs-up emoji. At the party, which I attended for exactly 90 minutes, no one mentioned the camera equipment, but Madison had it. Brand new. She was using it to film content at the dinner table. My mother appeared in the background of 3 stories, beaming. When the waiter brought the cake, everyone sang. I moved my lips, made the right shapes, but I wasn't really there anymore. I was already back at the office in my mind, working through the product roadmap we'd mapped out that morning. My father caught me checking my phone. "Always working," he said, shaking his head. "You know what they say about all work and no play. They make $90 million, I thought, but I just smiled and put my phone away. Spring turned to summer. Our user base tripled. We started getting press. Small mentions at first. Tech blogs, industry newsletters, then bigger outlets. My face appeared in a few articles, professional headshots, quotes about innovation and disruption. My family never mentioned seeing them. I don't think they read them. Madison's following hit 2 million. She posted about it for 3 days straight. My mother called me specifically to tell me this news. Isn't that incredible? 2 million people. Can you even imagine? I could imagine. I was currently managing a platform with 5 million active users, but I just said, "That's great, Mom," and let her talk. July brought my 30th birthday. I spent it in back-to-back meetings with potential acquirers. 3 companies, all serious interest. Numbers that kept getting bigger. My CFO's hands were actually shaking when we left the last meeting. "Do you understand what this means?" he asked me. I understood, but I couldn't feel it yet. It still felt distant, theoretical, like it was happening to someone else. That night, my phone buzzed. The family group chat. They'd forgotten my birthday. All of them. But at 11:47 p.m., Madison posted "Happy birthday to my big sis" with a throwback photo from 15 years ago. One where she looked cute and I looked awkward. 47 comments in minutes. All about how adorable Madison was as a child. I turned off my phone and went back to work. August, September, October. The conversations with acquirers got more serious. Lawyers got involved. Due diligence began. My entire team was sworn to secrecy. This was the kind of thing that could fall apart with one premature leak. I went to exactly 2 family events during this period. My cousin's wedding in September and Sunday brunch in October, because my mother guilted me about never seeing you anymore. At the wedding, someone asked what I'd been up to. "Still with the startup," I said. "Oh," they replied. "Still trying to make that work? Well, good for you for sticking with it." At brunch, Madison showed everyone her new partnership, activewear line, her name on the label. My mother actually cried with pride. "Isn't this amazing?" she kept saying. "Our Madison, a designer. Our Madison. Not our daughters. Not both our girls are doing well. Our Madison." I excused myself early. Claimed a meeting. It wasn't even a lie. I had 7 meetings that week about the acquisition. The number had reached 95 million. Then 100. Then 105. We settled at 100 million even. Clean number. Better for press. The day the final papers were signed, I sat in the conference room surrounded by lawyers and executives. Champagne was opened. People hugged. My co-founder cried. Someone made a speech about vision and perseverance. I checked my phone out of habit. Madison had posted a video of her morning smoothie routine. 30,000 likes. My mother had commented with 5 heart emojis. I put my phone face down on the table and signed my name one last time. The announcement would go live in 72 hours. Press embargo until then. I had 3 days of normal life left. 3 days where I was still just the tech girl who couldn't get her life together. The daughter who was always busy. The sister who wasn't worth including in the good photos. I drove home that night in my same old Honda. Parked in my same apartment complex. Walked up the same stairs. Inside, everything looked exactly as I'd left it that morning. Coffee mug in the sink. Laptop on the counter. Calendar on the wall with the next family dinner circled in red pen. My mother's birthday. 2 weeks away. I stared at that circle for a long time. Then I picked up my phone and confirmed my attendance. They had no idea what was coming, and I wasn't going to warn them. The announcement went live at 6 a.m. Pacific time. I was already awake. Had been for hours. Sitting at my kitchen counter with coffee I hadn't touched, watching my phone screen like it was a countdown timer. TechCrunch published first. The headline was clean and direct. My company name. The acquiring company. $100 million. My face in the thumbnail. Professional. Serious. Nothing like the family photos where I stood at the edges or didn't appear at all. Forbes picked it up 12 minutes later. Then Bloomberg. Then the Wall Street Journal. By 7 a.m., my phone started buzzing. I let it buzz. Text messages flooded in. Colleagues, investors, friends I hadn't spoken to in months. Everyone wanted to congratulate me. Everyone had something to say. At 7:34, my mother called. I let it go to voicemail. At 7:41, Madison texted, "OMG, just saw the news. Why didn't you tell us?" 3 question marks. Like my silence had been the surprising part. Like the previous 2 years of them not asking hadn't happened. I didn't respond. At 8:15, the family group chat erupted. 15 messages in 3 minutes. All caps. Exclamation points. Demands to know why I hadn't said anything. Accusations of keeping secrets. My Aunt Karen sent a screenshot of the Forbes article with, "Is this real?" I turned off notifications and went to my scheduled meetings. The day moved like water. Interviews with journalists. Calls with the PR team. A celebration lunch with my co-founder, where we both admitted we still couldn't quite believe it was real. Photos for the company website. Handshakes with people whose names I'd forget by tomorrow. My phone didn't stop. By noon, I had 63 missed calls, 47 text messages. The family group chat had exploded to over 200 messages. I read them during a break between interviews. Scrolled through them like I was reading someone else's story. My mother, "Sweetheart, please call me back. We had no idea. We're so proud." My father, "Call your mother. She's worried." Madison, "I've been bragging about you all morning. Everyone is asking about my sister, the millionaire." My Aunt Karen, "You could have told us. We're family. Your sister. Family. Proud." Words they'd had 2 years to say. Words they'd had a lifetime to say. At 3 p.m., Madison posted on Instagram a photo of us from years ago. One I didn't even remember being taken. Her arm around my shoulder. Both of us smiling. The caption, "Beyond proud of my incredible sister. She's always been brilliant, driven, and unstoppable. Watching her change the world has been the greatest gift. Love you forever." Watching her change the world. She hadn't watched anything. She hadn't asked, hadn't noticed, hadn't cared, until now. The post had 15,000 likes in 20 minutes. At 6 p.m., I finally responded to my mother. One text, short and clean. "Thanks for the messages. I'll be at your birthday dinner next week as planned. See you then." Nothing about the sale. Nothing about the silence. Nothing that would give them what they wanted. My mother called immediately. I didn't answer. She texted back, "Can we talk before then? There's so much to discuss. Your father and I want to take you to dinner. Celebrate properly. The birthday dinner is fine. See you next week." 3 days passed like that. Controlled responses, minimal words, polite but distant. The exact energy they'd given me for years reflected back perfectly. Madison tried calling twice, then texted, "Are you mad at us or something? I don't understand why you're being weird." Weird. That's what it was to her. Not justified. Not expected. Weird. I didn't explain. Explanations were for people who asked questions before the answers became valuable. The week crawled by. More press. More interviews. My face appeared in magazines I used to read during lonely dinners. Articles used words like visionary and trailblazer. None of them mentioned my family, because my family didn't matter to the story. They'd never been part of it. The night before my mother's birthday dinner, I laid out my outfit. Simple, elegant, expensive in a way that didn't announce itself but couldn't be missed. I practiced my expression in the mirror. Calm, neutral, pleasant. I would not give them anger. Anger was what they'd expect, what they'd know how to handle. I would give them something worse. Indifference. The next evening I drove to my parents' house. Same driveway, same front door, same dining room windows glowing warm. But I was different. And in about 30 seconds, they were going to realize it. I rang the doorbell and waited. If you've been following this story and want to see how this ends, hit that subscribe button right now. Drop a like if you've ever been underestimated by the people who should have believed in you first. Comment and tell me, would you have responded to those texts, or would you have stayed silent like I did? Share this with someone who needs to hear that success is the best response to doubt. My mother opened the door, and for the first time in my life, I saw something new in her eyes when she looked at me. Uncertainty. They were all already there when I walked in. The dining room looked different. Or maybe I looked different. Either way, something had shifted. Madison stood up immediately, too quickly. Her smile was bright and nervous. She moved toward me like she was going to hug me, then stopped halfway, unsure. "Hey," she said. "You look amazing." I did. I knew I did. Not because I'd changed my body, because I'd changed everything else. "Thanks," I said. Nothing more. My father appeared from the kitchen. His handshake was firmer than usual. Longer. He held eye contact in a way he never had before. "Quite the accomplishment," he said. "We've been reading everything. Just incredible." We, like they'd been following along, like they'd been part of it. "Thank you," I said, and moved past him. The table was set the same way it always was. Ball decorations despite it being late spring. Good china, candles. But my seat had changed. I wasn't at the end anymore. They'd put me next to my mother. Prime position. The seat Madison usually occupied. Madison was at the end now. She noticed. I watched her notice. My Aunt Karen couldn't contain herself. She rushed over, grabbed my hands. "We had no idea you were doing something so big. Why didn't you tell us? We could have helped. We could have supported you." Helped. Supported. Past tense disguised as hypothetical. "I was fine," I said simply. Dinner started. My mother had made all my favorite dishes. Foods she'd passive-aggressively portioned for years. Now they were offered freely, abundantly. She piled my plate high without asking. "You must be so busy," she said. "Are you eating enough? Taking care of yourself?" The same words. Different meaning. Before they were criticism. Now they were concern. I ate slowly, calmly. Watched them all watch me. My Uncle Mike asked about the sale. Wanted details, numbers, strategy. The same man who'd called it that computer thing was now leaning forward, genuinely interested. I gave him the press release version. Clean, professional. Revealed nothing real. Madison tried 3 times to steer conversation back to her content. Her partnerships, her upcoming campaign. Each time someone redirected back to me. Each time I watched her smile tighten. "Maybe you could give Madison some business advice," my mother suggested. "You know, about growing her brand. You two should collaborate." Collaborate. After 2 years of silence. After a lifetime of comparison. "Madison seems to be doing well on her own," I said. Neutral. Factual. "But imagine what you could do together," my father added. "Family business. Real legacy stuff." Legacy. They wanted in now. Wanted to attach themselves to something they'd ignored while it was being built. Madison's phone buzzed. She glanced at it, then at me, then back at it. Her smile was strained. "Actually," she said, voice careful, "I wanted to ask you something. In private, maybe." I knew what was coming. Could see it forming before she spoke. "I'm looking for investors for my activewear expansion. It's a great opportunity. I thought maybe you'd want to be part of it. Since we're family." There it was. Since we're family. The phrase that meant nothing when I needed it. Everything now that she did. The table went quiet. Everyone waiting. I set down my fork. Looked at her directly. "I'm focusing on other priorities right now," I said. "But I'm sure you'll find the right partners." Her face flickered. Disappointment. Confusion. Almost anger. "Other priorities," she repeated. "Yes." My mother tried to smooth it over. Started talking about dessert. About opening gifts. About how wonderful it was to have everyone together. I checked my watch. A gesture I'd learned from all the executives I'd met with. Subtle. Final. "I need to head out soon," I said. "Already?" My father looked genuinely disappointed. "But you just got here. I have an early flight tomorrow. Seattle. Meeting with some people about the next venture." Next venture. I watched those words land. Watched them realize this wasn't an ending. It was a beginning. And they still weren't part of it. "You're starting something new already?" my mother asked. "Exploring options," I said. Madison stared at her plate. My Aunt Karen looked between us like she was trying to solve an equation. My father opened his mouth, then closed it. I stood, collected my coat. "Happy birthday, Mom," I said, and meant it. No sarcasm, no edge, just fact. She walked me to the door, put her hand on my arm. "Sweetheart," she said, and her voice was different, smaller. "I know we haven't always been there the way we should have been." I waited. Let her say it. "We're sorry. We're proud of you. We always have been. We just didn't know how to show it properly. Always." That word doing heavy lifting, rewriting history in real time. I could have said many things. Could have listed every moment, every comment, every photo I wasn't in, every question they didn't ask. Instead, I smiled. Genuine warmth that didn't reach my eyes. "I appreciate that," I said, and I left. Drove away from that house with my windows down and my music up. My phone buzzed with messages before I reached the end of the street. I didn't look. 3 weeks later, I closed on a penthouse in San Francisco. Floor-to-ceiling windows, view of the bay, space for one. I didn't send my family the address. They texted occasionally, carefully, like they were afraid I'd disappear completely if they pushed too hard. Maybe I would. Madison's investor search went nowhere. She posted about it less. Her engagement dropped. She texted me twice more asking for advice. I responded with links to business articles. Helpful. Distant. My mother called every Sunday. I answered every third call. We talked about weather, surface things. She never mentioned my weight anymore. I bought art for my walls. Expensive pieces I actually liked. Built a life that didn't require anyone's approval. Some nights, I stood at those windows and looked out at the city lights. Thought about that Thanksgiving dinner 2 years ago. The moment I decided to stop waiting for them to see me. They saw me now. Everyone did. But the thing about being invisible for so long is you learn to live without witnesses. You learn your worth isn't measured in their recognition. The best revenge isn't dramatic. It isn't loud. It's building something so undeniable that their absence from it becomes their loss, not yours. I didn't need them to believe in me anymore. I'd already believed in myself, and that was enough.